Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. This is your first time tuning in. Welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. What do I mean by that when I say this? I mean that I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice a week long form podcast. You guys, at the end of the day, I want to put the right information out there that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I probably fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. It's Friday. We all know what that means. Q&A day. So how this works. I had some people DM me some questions. I'll answer them. And if you have any questions related to the transportation industry in regards to sales and operations, drop them in the chat, whether you're watching over on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter. And as long as they come through my feed here, I will answer them live on the show for you guys. I dedicate every single Friday to this because at the end of the day, you guys, I've been in this industry for a little bit, and I just want to help everyone kind of overcome a lot of the hurdles that I'm still faced with on a daily basis and that I've been faced with. So we can just try and put some insight out there from people who are actually in the day-to-day. So, but before we go any further, as always, you guys, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers. And the best part, you get paid to move these trailers, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're a small fleet or an owner-op, you should never have to shut your operation down because you have a trailer in the shop, and you can jump on there, get paid a little bit extra, and that's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading these out. And then further, if you're trying to provide an enterprise-level sales solution to some of your customers out there, this is a phenomenal opportunity to create a drop trailer pool at some of those, some of your prospects' facilities. So what they're working on right now, Staunton, Wisconsin, going over to Milton, Ontario, you guys, to get $350 US per trailer. And same, like, you don't have to just pick these up in Staunton and then find a shipper there, because you can reposition them down to Chicago. They just got to end up over in the Milton, Ontario area. They also have Chattanooga, Tennessee, going over to Clinton, Oklahoma, and you get $600 US to move those. And now they got a bunch of different trailers out in San Diego, or San Diego, as Ron Burgundy says, and they move anywhere from $1,100 to $2,200 per trailer. Yes, you heard that right. $1,100 to $2,200 per trailer. And they go all over the place, you guys. They go to Florida, Maryland, New York, Texas, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, you name it, you guys. They're literally all over the place. And then finally, they got Paragould, Arkansas, going to Mississauga, Ontario, and you get $736 US to move that, you guys. So hit him up, vhubapp.com. My man Zach Lonergan's already in the audience, you guys. And then Stacy Steen, she'll be in the audience as well. Just reach out to them if you guys have any questions, vhubapp.com. Just do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. All right, we got the comments blowing up already. Rob Odoms, good morning, sir. He's watching over on LinkedIn. Tracy St. Clair, she's back watching over on YouTube, you guys. Good morning to you, Tracy. And this is just one of those heads up, you guys, that I've been informed by literally everybody who jumps over to YouTube from LinkedIn, is that the audio and the video quality is exponentially better over on YouTube. So if you want to jump over there, you guys just look for the channel The Freight Coach, and you'll find this stream, as well as like literally every other stream that I've done out there. Let's see, Christina Shaw, what is up? Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Stephen Thompson, what's up, man? Morning. Anthony Tuttle, he says, happy Friday, everyone. Flo, what's going on, Flo? Happy Friday. Andy Friedis, good morning, sir. Thanks for tuning in. Catherine D, she's watching over on YouTube as well. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Zach Lonergan, he does say that they have trailers out there as high as $2,200. Expand your region business, more cash flow, retain your favorite carriers, DM him, you guys. And then also, let's see here. Yeah, so again, just another little subtle reminder, today is Q&A. So if you have any sales or operations related questions, drop them in the chat and I will answer them live on the show. And I'm trying to find my fucking screen here. There we go. I gotcha. Also a little quick market update. So I was, for those of you who are newer to tuning in and everything, I do own a freight brokerage as well, and we're out there selling. I mean, my man Chris Brewer was on yesterday, and we talked about a lot of what we're growing through out there, and it's a lot of, I think, like right now is a lot of those opportunities that come across that you don't know because you're not confident in, like, you might not have moved that lane before, for example, and a lot of the opportunities that come about with our prospects and our existing customers are they might be outside of our comfort zone, from it. But there's a lot of technology that's out there that helps you know that you're quoting the right price for the load, right? Like, obviously there's no surprise. My friends over at Green Screens, they're supporters of the show here. But I legitimately use them inside of my brokerage, right? Like, it's the pricing tool that I use that has seen my freight W's, my wins, go up exponentially because of the confidence factor that comes along with it. And they got a cool little rating tool in there that shows like at what percentage that price looks like out there in the market. And it legitimately has increased my win percentages. But again, it's that confidence, right? Because like, if you're out there building your book of business and you're building those lanes up, what do you do, right? Like, if you've never quoted a load before, or it's a new lane, like, shit's scary, right? Like, I'm not going to sit up here and say that I have it all figured out, but it brings a level of confidence to the table when you're working with a partner like Green Screen, and you can get in the, get it once you're in the door, and you're pricing it long term, right? Because like, for me, my big strategy, and a lot of it, is bringing that consistent pricing to the table every single load, because I don't have a ton of contracted freight right now, right? Like, I'm fighting for every single load, just like every single one of you guys who tune into this show and who listen to the show on the replay and stuff like that. Like, we're all fighting for that business, right? We're fighting for that consistent business. And for me, pricing really early on is vital to keep it the same as much as you possibly can to your carriers and your customers, and delivering that consistent rate time and time again, you guys. So it's like, with the tools that are out there, you can do that, right? And you can be more confident that you can bid out freight in the future. Because, for me, is I want to keep my customers and my carriers off that spot market. I want to be able to be like, hey, you know what? I've identified a pattern with this particular shipper. You're going to have Dallas, Texas to Kansas City. You've had it for the last 3 Tuesdays. It's Friday today. I'm going to try and get ahead of it and reach out to you and say, if you have that Dallas to Kansas City, I'll take it for Tuesday, and here's your price. And, again, it's just like, how do we chip away? How do we identify those factors in our customers' books of business? And, pricing's everything. And if the confidence level comes up with it, and then you start building up that carrier base with it, you're going to be able to execute upon that. I just think that it's so crucial early on, is to literally work everything. Every single opportunity that comes your way, you need to work it. You can't look at, in any market, but especially right now, you can't look at a load as is, it might not be worth our time for whatever reason, because it's going to be worth somebody's time somewhere. If you're competing with me and one of the customers that I'm working with, or some of my prospects that are coming on, I don't overlook any opportunity as an opportunity, as like a profit, not a profitable, excuse me, as a load that's not worth my time. Every shipment is worth my time. Every single one of them, you guys. And that's got to be your mentality as you're going out there and competing with people, is I'm not, the only one who does that, right? And for me, it's, how do we stand out in a crowd, you guys? That's probably the biggest DM that I get is how do I land a customer? How do I stand out in a crowd and everything else? And it's going to be, are you working every single opportunity that's out there? And then to get to that point, though, how much are you following up? How are you getting noticed out there in the crowd? And you would be surprised that at the end of the day, you just got to keep showing up. You got to keep reaching out, whether it's via phone, email, in person, whatever that looks like. And then when you get those opportunities, you got to work every single one of them, because, at the fact of the matter is there are people out there who will do literally fucking everything to move that freight, right? Like, no load is above them. or anything, and they're going to come up and they're going to show up every single day for it. So it's like, that's what you got to do. And if, again, if you're out there and you're like, how do I quote these, guys, hit up my friends over at Green Screens, / the Freight Coach, reach out to them, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Guys, it's literally what I use inside of my brokerage, and they have a phenomenal tool to help you bring that level of confidence to the table. And everything's an investment, right? At the end of the day, everything's an investment. And you need to look at it like this. Cause like I break things down as like, if I'm looking at, this is just an arbitrary example, so don't fucking take it for whatever. But I'll use my my office, like the new space that I'm building out right now. And I got it in there. I'm building out my studio, and you're going to continue to hear me talking about this because I don't know about you guys, but I've never built a fucking studio before, so I'm kind of figuring this shit out as I go. But it's an investment, right? So I see the number. Say it was $20,000. Now I'm like, all right, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to generate that revenue to cover that investment? And that's how I approach a lot of this. And as the tools that I build up in my companies, same thing. It's all an investment, but it's fucking worth it, because I would rather bet on me and invest in me 100 times out of 100. Let me see here. April Maroney. What the fuck? Good to see you too, April. Missed you as well. Good fucking morning. Zach Lonergan says, Chris, dramatic ... No, I'm just making that up. He says, Chris, how do you get yourself pumped up to make some prospecting calls? He listens to music before work to psych himself up. How I prep for the day's calls when I hit the phone. For me, I look at it like this. This is something that, and this isn't just like towards sales calls. This is, how do I get up every single day and make content or do my outreaches and everything? I wake up every single day not wanting to get out of bed, just like every single one of you, right? Like when my fucking alarm goes off in the morning, the last thing I want to do is get up and do it. But I'm working on this every single day where I just fucking get up, right? Like I just get up. And then when I have my day like mentally broken down into like a lot of little mini portions, right? So it's, the first thing is I got to go in and get my workout in. So I go and get that workout in, boom, that's a win. Then by the time I get into the office and it needs to start going, that's when I start viewing it as, all right, what will happen if I don't do my outreaches today? That's the very first thing that I think about. And what will my business look like if I don't make those cold calls, or if I don't go live today for my live show? And then the next thing that comes into my mind is I'm sure this is like what a lot of parents is will my kid be able to eat if I don't do this? And the answer is no, right? Like this is all I eat. My family is that it's based on what I provide. It's the effort that I put in. It's, my family only eats if I hunt. And that is what gets me pumped to put in the work. And then, cause it's like, it's that. And then it's also, I get to do this shit, right? Like to me, none of this is work, like, is it stressful? Fuck yeah. It's stressful to build your own business. It's stressful to do a lot of shit. But I guess, for me, I grew up doing manual labor, right? Like I grew up fucking doing some hard shit. And I look at it like, dude, I get to sit in an air conditioned office, right? And I don't want to do it every fucking day, but if I don't do it, what will my life look like? That's how I do it. And am I effective every fucking day of the week? Absolutely not. I'm a human being. But I know that if I don't do it, my life is going to suck. And if I don't do it, my kid doesn't eat and I don't have a roof over my head, and, it's hot as fuck here over the summer in Arizona. And, that might not be the difference between having AC and not. And, those little things, those crazy things like that go through my head. That's how I get psyched up to do my job at the end of the day, man, I really don't look at it as anything other than if I don't do it, what happens to my family? And I'll do whatever the fuck it takes to ensure that my family's taken care of. And I'll continue to show up every single day because frankly, this isn't like work to me, right? Like I get to do this, and it's also I grew up. And Zach, I know, obviously I talked to Zach, and I know that he grew up in an environment like that too, where when you're putting in work outside in the elements and everything. Shoveling fucking snow in Wisconsin in December, January fucking sucks, right? So it's like I get to look at it from that perspective, man. And it's like, dude, I don't need the motivation, right? It's developing that discipline to continue to show up every single day, no matter how I fucking feel. Because just like every single one of you guys watching this and listening to this on the replay, I don't feel like doing shit fucking the majority of the time. Like I fucking just want to hang out and do nothing. Let me see. Anthony Tuttle says, if you're not running it, someone else will. That's very, very true. Who else has questions? You guys drop them in the chats. Drop them in the chats right now. You guys will answer them live. Q&A, transportation, sales, and operations. So this is a question I got DM'd to me. How do I break through with some old time transportation managers who've been in that role for 20 plus years, and their mentality is my way or the highway? I look at it like this. When it comes to working as a service-based provider, which is a freight broker, right? I need to adapt to how my customer needs to operate. Now, that is not without saying that I don't bring suggestions to the table that have some substance behind it, right? Like I don't have the mentality of, oh, these guys suck, they shouldn't do it this way. I want to come in and, again, it's like, how am I positioning it? Hey, this is an effective way that I've worked similar freight where other customers of mine. How does that look like for you? I want to position it as a way for them to tell me why they operate in the capacity that they do. And it's my job to adopt that and adapt to that. Because if I have a customer who only wants to send me tenders and, via fucking text message, cool, I'll do it. I'll execute upon that. I'll make that happen for you. I got to be fluid in my approach. And again, it's just like, if you're going to suggest another way of doing things to somebody, especially if they've been in this role for a long time, we can't discredit and think that they haven't tried other ways. They're operating in that capacity because A, nobody's ever shown them a better way to do it, and B, they know it's effective. So if you're going to bring a suggestion to the table, you need data and you need substance behind why it will improve their operation, as opposed to why it would be easier for you as the sales rep if the customer changed their way. We can't really think that way at all. I would definitely recommend not doing that. I like adapting to the way that my customer operates. And then if there is any other additional suggestions, it's going to be based with substance and not emotion of why my job would be easier if you did it this way. So I would take that into consideration. And I think like that's again, and this is just coming from my experience in the industry. This is a massive fucking fault from sales reps all over the place, is they go in there thinking that they are smarter than the decision maker at the shipper. They think that they are better than that person is at their job. And it comes through, right? And then when you have that level of arrogance that you bring out there, you are so fucking misguided to think that they can't tell how you are, right? So I think that, there's a lot of value in getting a couple pieces of humble pie, large pieces of humble pie in those instances. But it's like, if you're going to go there and bring a suggestion to the table, you better understand that there's a reason why they operate in the capacity that they do. And again, I'm not saying that you can't suggest things, as I'm assuming most shipping managers would love to make their job easier, but there needs to be some substance behind it and verifiable data that says this is why it will make your life easier. And it's you making your customer's life easier, not how can I do this to make my life easier as the service provider. Tony, I do not fucking need drayage. Darnell says, if you are in the service industry, provide the best service. Simple as that. And then he says, we can sniff it a mile away. Amen. We can sniff it a mile away. He doesn't need drayage also, you guys. And, and that's the thing is we bring shippers on this show, as well as my audio only podcast, you guys. They literally tell, like, shit, I've had multiple shippers on here this year who've literally given you guys guidance on how to build a multi-million-dollar book of business. Like straight up. They've given you real fucking guidance on how to build a multi-million-dollar book of business. Are you going to apply that though? Right? Because it's just like with us, out there, every shipper operates in a different capacity. There could be 7 bottled water shippers out there that all have different requirements, that all have different ways of doing it. And it's your job as a service provider to fucking mold to every single one of them. Because again, kind of like the topic of my conversation yesterday with my man, Chris Brewer at River City Logistics. I can fucking guarantee you this. If you're not going to do that, if River City gets in the door, they'll fucking do it and they'll fucking eat your lunch. Like that, it's just the way that things are. And it's competitive as shit out there, you guys, at the end of the day. I got another DM and it was about judging your salary. And it was talking about going from a higher base salary that, while some workers are making more, and I have the experience along with customer rating and vendor management, I found out non-background coworker who came from another industry is at a higher salary, and that hit hard. I'm going to be honest. What your company chooses to pay somebody else is none of your fucking concern. Again, this is just my opinion here. As always, you guys, it's my show. It's my opinion. I don't need to tell anybody that my opinions are mine, because it is my fucking unbiased opinion here. What somebody else makes is none of your fucking business, right? And if they're telling you that should not fucking do anything to you, because the beauty of, and I can't speak for anybody else's organization but mine. I'm never going to restrict my team from making money. The beauty of when people come and work with Freight Coach Logistics is if the compensation structure is going to be so clear, it's not going to be a Venn diagram or anything like that, because I can barely fucking add. My business partner is very fucking smart, and he's got it laid out, and he can explain it to me. And if he can explain it to me, he can explain it to anybody. And everyone is going to have an equal opportunity to fucking dominate, and we're never going to cap anybody's earning potential out there. And I think, though, that at the end of the day, if you want to make more money, provide more value, right? That, like, at the end of the day, become so fucking undeniably better than everybody else in there that they have no choice but to pay you more. And it'll happen, right? Like, no matter what, you always think you're underpaid. You always think that you're fucking worth $1 billion a year. And I'm just saying it because that's what I thought for the longest time. I thought I was fucking worth a hell of a lot more, and I thought I was working so much harder than I actually was. And this, to me, though, comes down to, are you literally doing everything in your power to separate yourself as undeniably better than everybody else inside of that organization? Because I always thought I worked hard when I was working for somebody else. I'm not saying I was a shitty employee. I thought I was a fucking great employee. But it's different when you have a paycheck show up every 2 weeks, direct deposit, than when you don't, right? And I'm just saying that from going from a W-2 employee for a very long time to starting my own business. You think you work hard, and this is just me, until the money fucking stops. Until the paychecks stop and you have a finite amount of money in your bank account, and if you don't fucking show up, you don't eat. It's a big fucking difference, right? And that's where it turns into, I will do whatever it fucking takes. To Zach's question earlier about, how do I get amped up? And it's because I've been in that situation where I had no money coming in, like fucking zero. And I had a finite amount of money in my bank account to survive on. And I got into it, because again, like I've talked about this on my podcast and everything. Like, dude, when I was first in business, like I was delivering pizzas on the side. Like I'd work all day and then I'd go and deliver pizzas at night to ensure that I had the money to like pay my, like essentially put food on my table at that point. And, fortunately, when you're delivering pizza, you get a lot of free pizza. It wasn't good for the waistline, but, for a young kid, knowing that dad's going to come home and have a pizza, fucking, it was kind of cool in the moment, but it was doing whatever you have to do mentality. And, now after putting in a lot of work, and again, it's so much harder than you think, but it's so much more rewarding. And now my mentality has shifted because it's like, you know what, I things are a lot different. It's a lot easier to sit this and say this when I have guaranteed revenue coming in every single month. But the more that things grow, the harder I have to work to keep it, right? And to earn it. Like, I don't look at it as, hey, I'm getting paid this. It's time to like put it on I'm time to put it on cruise control. Like, I work harder now. Like, I'm more scared. The more this grows, the more scared I get with a lot of shit that I got to work fucking 10 times harder to continue to earn all the business that I have. And that's where my mentality is. So it's like, I know, but when I was as a sales rep, when I was getting a paycheck, it wasn't always like that. It was, this organization should pay me more money because look what I'm doing for them and everything else under the sun. Perspective is everything, and situation's everything. But I think if you're working for somebody else, your only concern should be, am I even justifying them paying me $50,000 a year or $60,000 a year plus commission? And am I being undeniably better than everybody else inside of that organization? So that's just my opinion on that one. Let me see, Zach. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate that. Zach also looks like Justin Timberlake in some of the videos he's putting out there. He's got those dyed blonde hair. He's got the curly hair too. I'm a big fan, as a curly-headed dude as well, because underneath his backwards hat, it's fucking salon quality head of lettuce, salon quality. And I got natural curly hair. Fucking, it is immaculate. Zach's up there though. He's got a serious flow back. April Maroney says, I just watched Tony on a panel at the TMSA, and all three shippers were speaking in alignment, service, relationship, and authenticity. Stop lying. Stop promising to deliver the things you can't. Build a relationship and just be authentic. April, it is that simple at times, right? As one of my friends who was on my podcast, who is a shipper, said, and this is like literally the best I've ever heard it and the simplest I've ever heard it. He said, it always boils down to service and communication. And the thing about it is he's like, I've been doing this long enough to know that you can have a bad week or a bad month of service and still be all right. You just can't ever have a bad day of communication, because I've been doing this long enough, and this was his words, I've been doing this long enough to know the realities of the industry, to know that things are going to happen. You can't have a bad day of communication though. Because really, when it boils down to it, never take your customer's ability to do their job away from them. And, to April's point out there, is stop lying and then stop promising to deliver to the things you can't. And if you can't do something, let them know. If a truck falls off a load or there's a breakdown and you can't cover that load, don't hold your customer hostage in that moment so you can try and move the shipment. Take a big old bite of that humble pie like I talked about and just deliver the message. Hey, this is what happened. I don't want to put you in a bad position. I'm going to continue to work this. And I'm not a fan of giving back freight, but I'm also not a fan of putting them in a bad situation. And if I misquoted a load, I'm going to take that loss 100 times out of 100. But if it's something where I know I can't do it, moving into it, like if a customer came to me and said, hey, I need 75 trucks to pick up in the next hour, I'm not going to be able to accommodate that, and it's just being transparent, being honest. Again, talking about relationships. Relationships come in more when it's not in your favor. But anyways, you guys, that's going to be it for the Q&A show today. Thank you for all the ones who submitted questions in the chat here, as well as through DM. And we do this every single Friday, you guys. Every single Friday is a Q&A show. So if you have questions that pop up, DM them to me and I'll get them out to you guys. All right, I'll answer them live on the show, but that's going to be it. As always, you guys, if you guys saw value in this, subscribe and share the show. You guys, if you're going to go over to YouTube, hit subscribe on there. And then same thing with iTunes and Spotify. Rank the shows over there, you guys, and hit that 5-star if you think I gave 5-star efforts out there, you guys. That's how we have grown into the top show in the industry, is because of each and every one of you. And this is how we're going to continue to grow and continue to reach more and more people, you guys, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to help one person. I'm trying to help one person avoid the mistakes that I made early on. And I was talking about this on my podcast with Blythe Brumleve. We were talking about creating content and how both of our perspectives have shifted to where it's like, I'm so fortunate for the tens of 20s of 30s of thousands of people who download this podcast every single month. But I'm out there hoping that one person can take value away from this and see a difference in their business and their life. Because just like you guys trying to figure this shit out every fucking day, I don't have all the answers. I just know a hell of a lot of what not to do in freight. But that's going to be it, you guys. Have a great weekend. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.